Welcome back. I'm Adam, functional bodybuilding coach and physical therapist. Today we're going to go through a mobility session for the squat. A lot of bias on the hips, a little bit of work on the ankles, and then some specific squat position work. So we're going to start in our shin box position, working on hip rotation. So our shin box position, both knees are bent to about 90 degrees, creating a box between my shins. This is my first side. I'm going to just hold here for a couple seconds, make sure I'm comfortable here. If this position is challenging for you, you can just lean a little bit farther back, keep your hands behind you. We're then just going to open up the trail leg and transition over to shin box on my other side. So now I'm in that exact same 90 degree on both knee, shin box position on my opposite side. And we're just going to continue to transition back and forth between those two shin box positions. Okay, you can keep using your hands behind you for support. The more you lean back, the easier it will be, or the less requirement of hip rotation. We're going to do about 10 on each side. If after a few reps it starts to feel comfortable, no pinching in the hips, you can try to continue to sit up taller and taller. You may even, as we get close to the 10th rep, be able to take the hands away from the floor. We're just going through this nice and slow, holding in each end position just for a few seconds. Let's do a few more in each position. And we'll go one more on each side. Okay, now we're going to go same shin box position on our first side. So I'm just turning a little bit so you can see from a better angle, but same shin box position, 90 degrees at both knees, creating that nice little box. My hand is going to come straight to the outside of my hip. I'm then going to reach my opposite arm through, rotating as far as I can, and then bringing it back. We're just going to do 5 on each side, holding for a few seconds in the end position. And we'll go one more. Okay, so we're going to switch to the other shin box side. Again, hand comes out straight to the side of the hip. I'm going to reach my opposite arm through, holding for a few seconds. Reach through, hold, come back up. 5 on this side. Number 3. Keep trying to reach a little bit farther on each rep. Number 4. And one more. Reach, reach, reach. And bring it back up. Perfect. We're going to do one more in the shin box position. So I'm going to go back to my first side. We're going to be focusing on this back leg on this drill. So the whole time I do this drill, I'm going to try to keep this front knee on the floor. First motion, I open up this back leg like so, holding for a few seconds. It's okay if I allow my torso to rotate a little bit towards the back. I bring it back down. And then now from here, I'm going to lift my leg off the ground, bring the bottom of my foot flat to the floor, and then I'm going to bring it right back to my shin box position, trying to not touch my foot first. So on that second motion, I try to hover my ankle so that my knee touches the floor first. So again, I'll show you first motion, knee comes out to the side, I open up that hip as much as I can, I bring my knee back down, and now I bring my foot flat to the floor, and then I bring it back, trying to touch my knee to the ground first, just like so. Okay, we're gonna do 5 on each side. So again, open up the hip. This is number 3. I bring it back down, and then I bring my bottom of my foot to the floor. Bring it back, nice, slow and control, trying to touch the knee first. Okay, let's keep going through these. If you started on the 2nd or 3rd rep, no problem, I'll do a few extra on each side. Keep moving through these 2 motions very slowly, controlling that rotation in your hip. Good. Keep going through a couple more on this side. Hip opens up. Knee comes back down, foot comes flat to the floor, and then I go right back to that shin box position, trying to touch my knee first. Again, hip opens up, foot comes flat to the floor, and then I try to touch that knee to the ground first. I'll go one more on this side. Switch over to my other side. Again, first motion. I'm leaning a little bit farther back on my arm, again, just to make it a little bit easier on that rotation in the hips. So open up the leg first, front knee stays on the floor, hold for a few seconds, bring the knee back down. I now bring my foot flat to the floor, and then I bring it back, trying to touch my knee to the floor first. If that foot touches just a little bit before the knee, that's okay. Just continue to try to get better and better at touching that knee first. So open the hip up, comes back down, foot goes flat to the floor, and then I try to touch my knee to the floor first, just like so. Hip opens up, knee comes back down, foot goes flat to the floor, and then I try to touch my knee first. Again, hip opens up, knee comes back down, foot flat to the floor, and then knee touches first, or I try to touch it first. Okay, a couple more. Open up the hip, foot comes flat to the floor, try to touch that knee first. One more. Open up the hip, foot comes flat to the floor, and then knee touches the floor. Awesome. Hips are nice and warm. We're gonna move in to a couple stretches for the ankle. So our first ankle stretch is gonna be very simple. We're just gonna go into our down dog position, and I'm just gonna pedal my feet back and forth. So I'm gonna straighten one knee, and then I'm gonna switch, and I'm gonna straighten the other knee, kind of stretching that calf of the straight leg. So again, I keep just stretching through that calf, hold for a few seconds, and then I switch to my other side. I'm gonna do about 10 on each side in this down dog calf stretch position. Just alternating, bending the knee and straightening the knee. Nice and easy, easing into that ankle dorsiflexion by stretching out the calves. Keep moving through these. We're gonna go a few more on each side. One more on each side. Okay. Continuing on with the ankle stretch, we're gonna move into our ankle stretch, or our dorsiflexion stretch. So ideally you have a weight for this stretch, but you don't need a weight for this stretch. So I'll show you without the weight first, and then if you have a weight available, a dumbbell, kettlebell, plate, any weight that you can put on top of the knee, we'll try to do that. So in our half kneeling position here, all we're gonna do is lean forward onto this front ankle, keeping the knee in line with the toes. And I'm just gonna try to push down or sort of sink into my knee here, keeping my heel on the floor, stretching my ankle into as much dorsiflexion as I can, closing this angle as much as I can. So I'm just gonna hold here. We're gonna do about 2 minutes on each side. So again, if no weight, that's okay. Continue to hold in this position, just pushing down into that knee, keeping the knee in line with the toes and the heel on the floor. If you do have a weight, you can just take that weight, put it right on top of the thigh or on top of the knee. And again, just lean over that leg, keeping the knee in line with the toes, closing that angle as much as you can. So again, we're just gonna hold here for the remainder of our 2 minutes. Keep checking in with yourself. Knee is in line with toes, heels on the floor. And just hang out in this position. Getting close. Keep exhaling, sinking that knee over the toe, not letting the heel come off. And then ease out of that position. And we're gonna go same on the other side. So again, I'm in my half kneeling position. I just shift my knee over my toes, and then I just push down my body weight, or even using my hands here, as you can see, to get into that ankle dorsiflexion as far as I comfortably can. You feel free to adjust this back leg however feels most comfortable, however you can get into the best position for this front leg. So again, knee in line with toes, heel stays on the floor. I'm gonna grab my weight again, make it a little bit more challenging. Keep exhaling, letting that knee sink over the toe. Heel stays flat on the floor. Regardless of if you have the weight or not, just continue to drive that knee over the toe. See how far you can get into this dorsiflexion position. Keep holding, we're getting close. Okay, and ease out of that position. Ankles are nice and loose, ready for our squat position. We're gonna do a couple more for the hip before we get into our specific squat position. So we're going to go into our frog stretch position. So frog stretch position, my knees are gonna come to my outside. I'm gonna come onto my elbows, and then I'm just gonna try to sink my butt back as far as I can without losing the curvature in my spine. So from the side, again, knees are out to my side, like so. My back is in a nice straight position, and then I try to push my hips back as far as they comfortably can until I feel a nice stretch. Again, not letting my back round, so I don't want to dump my back here. I don't want to overarch through my back either. Just a nice neutral spine, pushing those hips back as far as you can. We're going to sit in this stretch for about 1.5 to 2 minutes. As we sink into this stretch, continue to try to let your knees go farther and farther away from each other, sinking deeper and deeper into this frog stretch position. Continue to check in with that back, check in with your breathing, make sure controlled inhales, long exhales on every exhale, trying to sink just a little bit deeper into the stretch. Keep sliding those knees a little bit farther away from each other as you get more and more comfortable in this stretch position. Okay, a couple more exhales. Sink deep on this last exhale, and then ease out of that frog stretch position. Okay, we're gonna go on to the back for this next one. This is just gonna be an active drill. So as a part of that squat position, we're getting to a lot of hip flexion. Hip flexion is this motion. Okay, so we are just gonna do some active hip flexion to get us ready for the squat position. So what's really important during this drill is that you maintain your back in a nice neutral position. You keep it where it is. Don't let your low back move as you do this. What's gonna wanna happen is I'm gonna wanna pull my knee up and my low back is gonna wanna round and push flat into the floor. I want you to keep that little bit of arch in your low back to where it does not touch the floor. Keep it there, don't arch anymore, don't let that arch flatten, just keep it right locked in that position as you bring one foot up at a time. So we're gonna bring one leg up, I'm gonna flex my hip and my knee, mimicking that squat position. I'm gonna try to bring my knee as far towards my chest as I can, again without losing that arch in my low back. I'm gonna hold for about 3 seconds, and then I'm gonna bring it back down. Okay, we're just gonna do 5 on each side. So I lift, I bring that knee as far to my chest as I can, not letting my back change position. I'm really squeezing, trying to hold at the top, and then bringing it back down. In that top position, really try to maximize how much hip flexion you can get. Try to keep getting that knee higher and higher and higher so long as you're not rounding through that back. I'm holding, 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 and then I bring it back down. A couple more on this side. Lift and hold. Flex that hip as much as you can. Don't let that back move. And I bring it back. One more on this side. Knee comes up. Hold, hold, and bring it back down. Okay, we're gonna switch sides. Same thing. Back stays nice and locked in. Bringing the knee up as high as I can, mimicking that squat position. I'm gonna hold, 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 not letting my back change position, and then I'm gonna bring it back down. Okay, go 5 on this side. Lift and hold. Back position doesn't change at all. And bring it back down. Lift and hold. 2 more on this side. Lift and hold, back is locked in. I'm bracing my abdominals, making sure I don't lose that back position. And one more. Flex that hip as far as you can. Flex that hip, flex that hip, flex that hip. And bring it back down. Awesome. Okay, we're going to move into our squat position. I have my plates here in case I need them. So if the squat position is challenging for you to hold, I would suggest getting the plates, just lifting the heel on the plate slightly, like so, just so you can sit in a more comfortable squat position. So if you need the plates or some elevation for the heels to make the squat more comfortable, that is perfectly okay. I'm gonna start without my heels elevated, and we're gonna go through our Russian baby maker. So I'm gonna go down into my squat position. Just find a nice comfortable squat position. I'm then gonna grab onto my toes and I'm gonna straighten my knees, stretching through my hamstrings, just holding here for a few seconds. And then I'm gonna come back down, still holding onto my toes if I can. Straightening the knees, holding for a few seconds, and then coming back down. We're gonna do about 10. Don't worry about the most perfect back position in this position. If you can keep it pretty straight, awesome. If you have to round a little bit, that is okay. Straighten the knees, stretch through those hamstrings in the posterior chain, and then back to our squat position. Straighten the knees, and then back to the squat position. I'll change angles, show you guys from a couple different angles. So again, holding onto my toes, straightening the knees, and then right back into my squat position. Keep moving through these. Hopefully as you do more and more of these, that squat position gets more and more comfortable. Hamstrings get a little bit looser on every rep. It's okay to just move around in both of these positions, bounce around just a little bit. Kind of find what's comfortable for you. Okay, we're gonna go through just a couple more. And back down. Okay, again, we're gonna stay in the squat position for this next drill. Again, if you need the heel elevated, that's perfectly okay. We're gonna go through thoracic rotation. So I'm gonna just bring one elbow on the inside of my knee. I'm then gonna open up my hand towards the ceiling, rotating through my thoracic spine as much as I can, holding in that position, and then I'm gonna switch. Elbow pushes into the inside of the thigh or the knee, and then I open up as high as I comfortably can. And then I bring it back. For some of you, if that's a little bit hard, you can also grab onto the opposite ankle and then pull yourself into that thoracic rotation. So grabbing onto the opposite ankle, rotating up. We're just gonna do about 5 on each side. Keep moving back and forth, either knee push to the inside of the thigh or grabbing the opposite ankle. Either one, whichever one is more comfortable for you. I'll show you from the side. Again, try not to let my back round too much during this thoracic rotation. Still trying to keep relatively good squatting posture. Keep moving back and forth. Couple more on both sides. Okay, come out of that squat position just for a second. Hopefully that squat's getting more and more comfortable. Shake out the legs a little. We're gonna do one more squat hold. So we're gonna go down into the squat position. Again, elevate the heels if needed on this stretch. This time we're just gonna do a little bit of active hip internal and external rotation. So I'm gonna show you here. You don't have to put the hands behind the head. I'm just doing this so you can see my knees. My knees are coming in and then out. Knees are coming in and then out. So I'm just actively pushing my knees in, pushing my knees out. Only go to where you're comfortable. Shouldn't get too much pinching in the hip. Shouldn't get any pain in the ankle or the knee. Just move those hips in and out. Even if it's a small motion, that's okay. Just a little bit of rotation at that hip. In and out with the knees. Okay, we're just gonna go in and out 10 times. In and out. Nice smooth motion. In and out. I know the legs might be burning a little bit from being in the squat hold position. This is our last drill today. Keep going in and out, in and out. Awesome. Okay, ease out of that squat position. Hopefully those hips are nice and loose, ankles are nice and loose. You're all prepped for the squat, or you're focusing on improving your squat positions. If you want to get even better at the squat positions, just continue to spend more time in that squat or run through this sequence one more time.